Hello Aquarius, I am Karen the Forest Empress and I am here with a 4-card tarot spread for you, and the time that this is for is whenever you are watching it, which is right now. So let me just tell you what I'm going to be doing. I have 4 cards that will represent your challenge, your focus, what you need to cultivate, and then the outcome. I will also choose a spirit animal oracle card to see what kind of animal energy is coming through for this time. So the first card that we have is your challenge, and you got the 7 of Cups. So this is a card of, kind of living in a fantasy or maybe not truly seeing things for what they are. You could be seeing things in kind of a grander scale than they actually are, or maybe building things up to maybe make yourself feel better about something else, but it really doesn't have too much relevance to how much reality is actually coming into play here. So try not to get lost in these fantasies or see, in this case, this guy he's pretty much a shadow, and he's looking at all these cups that have all these wonderful things. But if you notice some of the things that are coming out, there's some symbology there. There's a snake coming out of one, so that would be, to me, deception, because that's typically what a snake represents. And we also have kind of a dragon who looks pretty angry, so just you might not be seeing things for what they really are. And so I would, especially since this guy is represented as kind of like a shadow person, this could be the shadow side of yourself, and therefore you would want to do whatever you can to kind of illuminate the shadow side of yourself and try to just lift that veil and see things for what they are. And sometimes people like to be blissfully ignorant. They like to kind of live in this fantasy where things are all great and all these cups are running over, and there are some really great things coming out of this cup. So there are good things that you are seeing. Just be careful is kind of what the message is here. Don't give in to that shadow side of yourself, and make sure that you are not seeing things for what they are not. And then also, because the clouds in this card are gray and not white, it could indicate that, that there's some kind of veil shrouded over something and things are not clear right now. And so that is the challenge, is to kind of, get through these darkened clouds and the shadow time and see things for what they truly are. And that in itself is going to kind of clear things up if you just kind of focus on, okay, what is really going on here? Your focus, the number 2 card, is actually the 3 of Pentacles. So a lot of you could be focusing very strongly on your work right now, kind of putting the nose to the grindstone. But this is a very positive card in my eyes. So it's saying that what you're working on now is going to pay off. You're at the 3 of Pentacles. You're working towards the 10. Or the 9. I think the 9 is really good too, or even the 8. But you're working your way up, and so you might be getting started on a project. You might be collaborating with people on a project, and that should be your main focus right now. So I would definitely say that your focus is on work, and whatever that may be. And because there are multiple people involved here, I would kind of get people's advice on work. If you're getting stuck, or if the cups is referring to you not seeing a work situation for what it truly is, maybe try to get someone else's perspective and see if that sheds some light on things. But whatever you are working on, it looks very positive. And just, collaborate if you need to, get people's opinions. And also your opinion is very valid here too, because these are people who are very, very good at what they do. And so if you just need a reminder that you are really good at what you do, and just to keep doing it, and you will succeed as long as you keep up the hard work and kind of put in your dues. The number 3 card is what needs to be cultivated in this time right now. And you actually have the 5 of Swords. So because of the look on this guy's face, I always think of this card as kind of like there's a little bit of trickery involved. I wouldn't say cultivate trickery, but Aquarians are known for their extreme and vast intelligence. And so I would imagine that if there's something that is confusing to you right now, or that you're not seeing clearly, your mind is a good way to kind of get out of it. If you need to kind of, I don't want to say like use deception, but if there needs to be something where you have to kind of dance around maybe actually saying what the issue is, or let's just say you have a work problem and someone's pressuring you to, what's this information? Where's this? This is due by this date, and when is this coming? And you are not ready, or you want to run it by more people. I would say you might need to do a little bit of dancing around to kind of get yourself more time, or, Aquarians are also known for being kind of smooth talkers. You might have to talk your way out of this one. But again, we have kind of these grayish clouds or mist in the background. So there definitely is some need for clarity on something here. You need more information on something. And that's kind of what's been coming through, that there's something that you're maybe waiting on information about, and you're trying to keep yourself busy by working, is kind of what I'm getting, and you're doing a very good job at it. But there will be clarity as I'm looking ahead. But let's just finish talking about this Five of Swords. You have one guy in the background, looks like he's crying. You have this other guy who looks like he has his jacket over his shoulder. He's ready to go. He's given up. And then you have this other guy who's like, he's picking up these swords that they've dropped. So there's also the opportunity for, I think, maybe for you to pick up the pieces from other people, maybe in a work situation. Maybe you're covering for someone else, like verbally. Maybe there is something that's, I just want to say maybe there's some kind of secret, and maybe you're covering for somebody else for this secret, or you're trying to keep something, maybe pick up the pieces for somebody else, or maybe someone else in your life has suffered some kind of defeat, and maybe you need to be the strong person to kind of, because it's swords, go talk to them, and maybe you're the one who needs to provide clarity on something for somebody else, because maybe they've just thrown down their sword and surrendered and wants to give up on something. And in this case, you might have to be a little deceitful and maybe stretching the truth just to make whoever it is that's suffering feel better. Sometimes you might need to say something that will help someone feel better about something. And I don't know why I'm getting that, but maybe it's relevant to somebody. I really hope it is. Now let's move on to the number 4 card, which is the outcome. And it's an excellent, excellent outcome. You got the Ace of Pentacles. So, this project that you're working on, the 3 of Pentacles, I know we're kind of backtracking, going back to the Ace, but this is a new beginning. So you could be working on something very hard that gets noticed by someone. You get some kind of accolades for it, or maybe this is just a new financial opportunity that's coming your way. So it's, this hand is coming out of the sky, out of the ether, so to speak, with this pentacle presenting this to you. So this could be a new work opportunity. Maybe you're working your butt off at work and you get a promotion, or you get a raise, or somebody says, hey, you did a really good job on this project, and here's this other really important project coming up, and we need you to work on this, or we need your input on this. So it could be something very promising for you, especially with the flourishing garden at the bottom. And then also I'm blanking on what that's called, but the kind of like awning that is opening up to this clear sky over this mountain. And so there is something that is coming to you, because this is the outcome card, that is something that is very favorable to you. And it's either a new opportunity to make money, a new opportunity for some kind of security. In the earth energy, we always tend to think of it as money, but it also has a lot to do with our own self-worth and self-values. So you could have a new outlook on yourself, like the clouds that were in the, 5 of Swords and the 7 of Cups could be clearing up. And this one, the cloud is gray still, but it's not as gray as the other 2 cards. And there is kind of this white light emanating off of the hand that's coming out of the cloud, presenting this opportunity. So the opportunity itself could provide clarity, or you could, come to terms with whatever's going on with your financial situation, your own self-values, and that could also be providing more clarity and kind of opening up the sky for you to create more wonderful, better things. Now let's move on to your animal oracle card. So the animal that was chosen for you for this time period is the porcupine, which is innocence. And with that first card that we got, the challenge, which was kind of living in this fantasy or not seeing things for what they truly are, the porcupine, I think, kind of deals with that because it says innocence. And then it also says, free yourself of guilt and shame. So everybody feels guilty about things. And, you know, some people feel guilty about like every little thing. I know I'm like that. I feel guilty about stuff that I don't even need to feel guilty about. But I think that could be because I'm a Pisces. But I don't generally think of Aquarians doing this. I mean, you'd have to see what's kind of going on with the rest of your chart. But whatever you're going through right now, I would say just process whatever guilt and shame and then say, well, there's nothing I can do about it. If it's something that's in the past that you're kind of freaking out about because you feel guilty about it, there's nothing you can do about it now. The only thing you can do is look forward, practice gratitude. That's kind of just my answer for everything. And be grateful for, you know, what you do have going on in your life right now, especially with this very promising work situation or kind of how you're feeling about yourself improving. But in the wild, porcupines tend to be kind of shy creatures, but if provoked, they will run at you and kind of try to push their butt into you, and so that they can poke those quills into you. And then they have these muscles that shove the quills in, and then once they're in, it's like really hard to pull them out unless you cut them in half. But so you may be feeling backed into a corner about something, and maybe this is you covering for this other person, and so you might feel like lashing out. But I think in this case, if you know something and you're covering for someone else, like maybe just play innocent. And that could be what it's talking about with this card that the Five of Swords, where I say that it, for me, it has a lot to do with kind of deception while also picking up the pieces for other things. And in this case, just going back to the Five of Swords, this guy could have, you never know, if he could have said something to make these people drop the swords, and then so he could pick them up. So just kind of remember that. But that's the reading that I have for you, Aquarians. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.